Self-education, the secret to wealth, inspired by Jim Rohn. You know, I've always believed that success isn't something you chase after like a wild animal. Success is something you attract by becoming the kind of person who deserves it. And becoming that person requires you to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's the key to everything I want to share with you today. The philosophy of personal development. Let me start with a fundamental truth that will change everything for you. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. That's the essence of personal development. Most people want their circumstances to change without changing themselves. They want their income to increase without increasing their value. They want their relationships to improve without improving their character. But life doesn't work that way. I remember a gentleman who approached me once and said, Mr. Rohn, I'd like to work for you. I need a good job. And I asked him a simple question. But do you deserve a good job? He said, well, I need it. I said, that's not what I asked. Do you deserve it? You see, the marketplace pays for value, not for need. And you must become valuable by working on yourself relentlessly. The key is to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. When you become more valuable, the marketplace rewards you accordingly. As Jim Rohn once said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job, and you can have anything you want. The power of self-education. Now let me talk about the most powerful form of working on yourself. Self-education. Formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. Some people say, well, I didn't have much of an education. I say that's no excuse. Formal education is important, but what you do on your own time to educate yourself will determine your future. I was fortunate enough to meet my mentor when I was 25 years old. He said to me, Jim, if you want to be successful, you need to develop a personal library. So I started with one book, then I got another and another. Over the years, I've collected hundreds of books, not just to have them, but to study them, to learn from them, to apply their wisdom. You must have a study plan. Set aside time each day, morning, evening, it doesn't matter. But set aside time to read, to think, to learn. 30 minutes to an hour of reading each day will put you in the top percentage of educated people in the world. That's how valuable consistent study is. And don't just read the easy stuff. Challenge yourself. If you read just 10 pages of a good book every day, that's 3,650 pages in a year. That's about 12 books a year. Imagine the wisdom, the knowledge, the insights you'll gain from that commitment alone. Managing your emotions. Another critical area of working on yourself is learning to manage your emotions. Emotions are powerful, but they must be directed, not just experienced. I've seen many people let their emotions control their lives. They're happy when things are going well and they're depressed when things aren't. But successful people learn to manage their emotions regardless of what's happening around them. Learn to handle disappointment. When something doesn't work out, don't fall apart. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? Learn to control anger. Anger is useful only in small doses and for very specific purposes. But many people let anger consume them, and it destroys their relationships and opportunities. And perhaps most importantly, learn to cultivate positive emotions like enthusiasm, gratitude, and joy. These emotions fuel your journey and make the path more enjoyable. My mentor once told me, Jim, you must learn to master your emotions or they will master you. That advice changed my life forever. The discipline of daily habits. Now let's talk about habits. Your habits determine your future. It's not the occasional big decisions that shape your destiny. It's the small decisions you make every day. I once had a gentleman ask me, "How do you achieve success?" I told him, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." But here's the flip side. Failure is simply a few errors in judgment repeated every day. So the question is, which habits are you practicing every day? Are they moving you toward your goals or away from them? Let me suggest some habits worth developing. First, the habit of punctuality. Being on time shows respect for others and for yourself. It demonstrates discipline and reliability. I've never known a successful person who was habitually late. Second, the habit of keeping your word. When you say you'll do something, do it. Your word is your bond, and your integrity is non-negotiable. Third, the habit of completion. Don't be a person who starts things but never finishes them. See things through to the end, even when it's difficult, even when you don't feel like it. Fourth, the habit of going the extra mile. Do more than what's expected. The marketplace pays extraordinary rewards for extraordinary performance. These simple habits, practiced consistently, will set you apart from the crowd. The value of association. Another crucial aspect of working on yourself is carefully choosing your associations. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I remember when my mentor first shared this concept with me. He said, "Jim, never underestimate the power of influence." Then he asked me to make a list of my friends. He looked at the list and said, "Jim, I can tell you what you are. You're the average of those 5 people." That was a wake-up call. If you want to be successful, associate with successful people. If you want to have a positive outlook, associate with positive people. If you want to grow, associate with people who challenge you to become better. And sometimes, as painful as it may be, you have to dissociate from people who are pulling you down, not because you don't care about them, but because you care more about becoming the person you're capable of becoming. The mindset of abundance. To work hard on yourself, you must develop an abundance mindset. Many people operate from a scarcity mentality. They believe there's not enough to go around, so they hoard, they envy, they compete in unhealthy ways. But successful people understand that there's plenty for everyone. They focus on creating value, not on taking value. They understand that the more they give, the more they receive. I often tell the story of a farmer who was known for his award-winning corn. When asked about his success, he revealed that he shared his best seed corn with his neighbors. "Why would you share your best seed with your competitors?" someone asked. The farmer replied, "Don't you know? The wind picks up pollen from the ripening corn and swirls it from field to field. If my neighbors grow inferior corn, cross-pollination will steadily degrade the quality of my corn. If I am to grow good corn, I must help my neighbors grow good corn." That's the abundance mindset in action. Your success is tied to the success of those around you. When you help others succeed, you create an environment where your own success becomes more likely. Overcoming limiting beliefs. Let's talk about limiting beliefs. These are the invisible chains that hold most people back. They're the stories we tell ourselves about what's possible and what's not. I'm too old. I don't have the right education. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I'm not talented enough. These beliefs act like prison walls, keeping you confined within a small space of possibility. But here's the truth. Most of these beliefs are not true. They're just stories you've told yourself for so long that you've come to accept them as reality. To work hard on yourself means challenging these limiting beliefs. Question them, test them, replace them with empowering beliefs. Instead of "I'm too old," try My experience gives me an advantage. Instead of I don't have the right education, try I can learn anything I need to know. Instead of I don't have enough money, try I can find creative ways to fund my dreams. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. Change your beliefs, and you change everything. The power of goal setting. Working hard on yourself requires setting clear, compelling goals. Goals give direction to your efforts and purpose to your days. Many people drift through life without clear goals, and then they wonder why they never seem to get anywhere. Setting goals is like programming your internal GPS. It tells your mind where you want to go, and then your subconscious mind starts looking for ways to get there. But don't just set any goals. Set goals that inspire you, that pull you forward with excitement and anticipation. Goals should be specific, measurable, time-bound, and written down. I remember a young woman who attended one of my seminars. She came up to me afterward and said, "Mr. Rohn, I've never set goals before. I'm afraid I'll fail." I told her, the greatest failure is not setting goals and not reaching them. The greatest failure is not setting goals at all. When you set a goal, you might not reach it exactly as planned, but you'll grow in the process, and you'll end up further ahead than if you had never set the goal at all. Developing financial intelligence. An important part of working on yourself is developing financial intelligence. Money is not the most important thing in life, but it affects everything that is important. Most people struggle financially, not because they don't earn enough, but because they don't know how to manage what they do earn. They don't understand the basic principles of financial success. Here are a few principles I've taught for years. First, spend less than you earn. This seems obvious, but it's astounding how many people violate this basic principle. Second, save a portion of everything you earn. Pay yourself first, even if it's just a small percentage. The discipline of saving is more important than the amount. Third, invest wisely. Make your money work for you. Understand the power of compound interest. Albert Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. Fourth, give generously. There's something powerful about giving that opens the door to receiving. It aligns you with the abundance of the universe. Financial intelligence isn't just about making money, it's about managing money, growing money, and using money in ways that enhance your life and the lives of others. The art of communication. Working hard on yourself includes developing your communication skills. Your ability to express yourself clearly and persuasively directly impacts your success in every area of life. I've seen many talented people remain in the shadows because they couldn't effectively communicate their ideas. And I've seen people of modest talent rise to great heights because they mastered the art of communication. Communication isn't just about speaking. It's also about listening. In fact, listening is perhaps the more important part. When you truly listen to others, you gain insights, you build relationships, and you avoid misunderstandings. I once met a successful businessman who told me his secret. I make it a point to learn something from every person I meet. That's the attitude of a master communicator. Always learning, always growing through interaction with others, the importance of health and energy. Another critical area of working on yourself is maintaining your health and energy. Your body is the vehicle that carries you through life. If that vehicle breaks down, everything else suffers. I'm not talking about becoming a fitness fanatic or following the latest health fad. I'm talking about basic self-care, eating nutritious food, getting regular exercise, getting enough sleep, managing stress. Your energy level affects everything. Your mood, your thinking, your creativity, your resilience. When your energy is low, problems seem bigger and opportunities seem smaller. When your energy is high, you see possibilities everywhere. I remember meeting a gentleman who complained that he didn't have enough time to exercise. I asked him, "Do you have enough time to be sick?" Because that's the choice. Invest time in maintaining your health now, or spend time dealing with illness later. Working hard on yourself means making your health a priority, not an afterthought. Cultivating gratitude. One of the most transformative practices in working on yourself is cultivating gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from what's wrong to what's right, from scarcity to abundance. I make it a daily practice to count my blessings, to acknowledge the good in my life. This isn't just positive thinking. It's a realistic assessment of the gifts and opportunities that surround us all. You can't be grateful and angry at the same time. You can't be grateful and fearful at the same time. Gratitude displaces negative emotions and creates space for positive growth. And here's something interesting. The things you appreciate. When you express gratitude for what you have, you tend to attract more of those things into your life. Start each day by identifying 3 things you're grateful for. They can be simple things: a comfortable bed, a cup of coffee, a friendly smile. The point is to train your mind to look for the good. The courage to change. Working hard on yourself requires courage. The courage to face your weaknesses, the courage to leave your comfort zone, the courage to try new things, the courage to fail, and the courage to get back up when you do. Change is uncomfortable. Growth is uncomfortable. But comfort is the enemy of progress. If you want to become more than you are, you must be willing to do things you've never done. I remember a young man who came to me frustrated with his life. He wanted things to be different, but he wasn't willing to do anything differently. I told him, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite the fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's how you grow. That's how you transform. The power of persistence. No discussion of working on yourself would be complete without addressing persistence. Persistence is the ability to maintain action regardless of your feelings. It's the ability to continue moving toward your goals even when the path is difficult, even when progress is slow, even when you don't see immediate results. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in a decade. Real, lasting change takes time. The seeds you plant today may not sprout tomorrow, but that doesn't mean they're not growing beneath the surface. I often share the story of bamboo. When you plant bamboo, nothing appears to happen for the first 4 years. You water it, you nurture it, but there's no visible growth. Then in the 5th year, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. But the question is, did it grow 90 feet in 6 weeks, or did it grow 90 feet in 5 years? The answer, of course, is 5 years. Those first 4 years, the bamboo was developing its root system, building a foundation that could support its rapid growth. Your personal development works the same way. Sometimes you're building roots and there's no visible progress. But if you persist, if you keep doing the right things consistently, eventually you'll experience breakthrough growth. As Jim Rohn said, success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. The balance of life. As we work hard on ourselves, we must remember the importance of balance. Life isn't just about achievement, it's about enjoyment. It's not just about work, it's about relationships. It's not just about success, it's about significance. I've seen too many people sacrifice their health for wealth only to later spend their wealth trying to recover their health. I've seen people sacrifice their families for their careers only to realize too late what really matters. Working hard on yourself means developing all aspects of your life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. Neglect any one of these areas and it eventually affects all the others. The key is to establish priorities and to make conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy. Not everything that demands your attention deserves your attention. Learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the best. Creating a personal philosophy. One of the most important aspects of working on yourself is developing a personal philosophy, a set of principles and values that guide your decisions and actions. Your philosophy determines how you interpret events, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately the quality of your life. Most people adopt their philosophy unconsciously, absorbing ideas from their parents, peers, and the media without critical examination. But to work hard on yourself means to consciously design your philosophy. It means asking, what do I believe about life? What do I believe about myself? What values are most important to me? What principles will guide my decisions? For me, a key principle has always been give more value than you receive in payment. This simple philosophy has guided my business dealings and my personal relationships, and it has never led me astray. Another principle I live by is success is not measured by what you accumulate, but by what you contribute. This keeps me focused on creating value, not just acquiring things. What principles will form your philosophy? Think about it carefully, because your philosophy becomes your destiny. The art of reflection. A crucial practice in working on yourself is regular reflection. Take time to assess your progress, to learn from your experiences, to make course corrections as needed. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What did I do well? What could I have done better? How am I different today than I was yesterday? At the end of each week, review your goals and your progress toward them. Are you moving in the right direction? If not, what adjustments do you need to make? At the end of each month, evaluate your habits. Are they serving you well? Which ones need to be strengthened? Which ones need to be replaced? And at the end of each year, take a broader view of your life. What have you accomplished? What have you learned? How have you grown? What will you focus on in the coming year? Reflection turns experience into insight, and insight is the raw material of wisdom. The journey of transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, working hard on yourself is a journey of transformation. It's about becoming more today than you were yesterday, and more tomorrow than you are today. This journey isn't always easy. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. There will be times when you wonder if it's worth the effort, but I promise you it is. Because when you work hard on yourself, everything else in your life gets better. Your career improves because you bring more value to the marketplace. Your relationships improve because you bring more value to your interactions. Your finances improve because you make better decisions. Your health improves because you take better care of yourself. But beyond all these external improvements, there's something even more important: the internal sense of satisfaction that comes from knowing you're becoming the person you're capable of becoming. The legacy of personal growth. As we near the end of our time together, let me talk about legacy. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind when you're gone. It's the impact you have every day through your words, your actions, your example. When you work hard on yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your growth creates a ripple effect that touches lives in ways you may never know. I think of the gentleman who approached me after a seminar years ago. He said, "Oh, Mr. Rohn, Something you said 5 years ago changed my life. I asked him what it was, and he quoted something I had completely forgotten saying. That's the power of influence. That's the power of legacy. Your commitment to personal growth isn't just for you. It's for everyone whose life you touch. It's for your family, your friends, your colleagues, your community. It's for people you may never meet who will be influenced by those you influence. The decision to begin. So where do you start? How do you begin this journey of working hard on yourself? It starts with a decision to take responsibility for your life, a decision to commit to continuous improvement, a decision to become the best version of yourself. This decision must be followed by action. Not someday, not tomorrow, but today. What's one thing you can do right now to work on yourself? What book can you start reading? What skill can you start developing? What habit can you start building? Remember, success is not a destination, it's a journey. And that journey begins with a single step: the promise of potential. In closing, let me leave you with this thought. Within you right now is the potential for greatness. Not greatness as the world defines it with fame, fortune, or power, but greatness as I define it. Becoming all that you're capable of becoming. That potential is like a seed. It contains everything necessary for magnificent growth, but it needs nurturing. It needs attention. It needs the consistent application of the principles we've discussed today. The question is not whether you have potential. The question is what you will do with it. Will you let it lie dormant, or will you cultivate it? Will you settle for less than your best, or will you work hard on yourself to become all that you can be? I challenge you today to make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to work harder on yourself than you do on anything else. Because when you do, everything else in your life will change for the better. Thank you for your time and attention. Remember, for things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. That's the essence of personal development, and that's how you work hard on yourself. The best to you and yours. If this message resonated with you and inspired you to begin your own journey of personal transformation, I encourage you to subscribe to Mind Mastery Hub for more powerful content like this. Hit that like button if this video added value to your life, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and let me know in the comments which principle you're going to start implementing today. Your engagement helps us reach more people who are ready to transform their lives through the power of personal development. Thank you for being part of the Mind Mastery Hub community.